Mike and Ann Howard from HoneyTrek. It all started back in 2012. Can you actually take us back to that time and tell me, where did the name HoneyTrek come from?
So we did this whole kind of brainstorming what the names would be, and we're playing around, and it just like jumped off the page like no other, like HoneyTrek, because this idea of when we're going on a honeymoon, but it's going to be a more backpacker style, more slow travel and a journey. So
adventurous.
Trek, like a long walk. HoneyTrek, that's a honeymoon and a long walk around the world.
Perfect. So the honeymoon and long walk around the world has now really, to a degree, taken on a life of its own with regards to a brand, and you guys are just behind that brand. So tell me about this 10-year journey, because we're literally in the 10th year. Is that correct?
Coming up, January 22nd of next year of 2022 will make 10 complete years that we've been on the road full time. And yeah, didn't start with any grand dreams of being full-time digital nomads or turning this into some big brand. We just wanted to go on a big honeymoon and do something unique, see the world, meet people, kind of check off the majority of our bucket list, and then go back to New York and get back on the corporate ladder and keep climbing and making money, and figured it would get out of our system with this big trip. And 1 year turned into 2 years. Then people started asking us to write for them. In the third year, National Geographic actually reached out to us and asked us to write their first book about couples adventure travel. So then we were starting to think like, maybe this could actually become something. We're having so much fun, making a little bit of money, or at least enough money to buy the next plane ticket and the next hotel nights. And then HoneyTrek just became our life became a HoneyTrek, and it became our full-time jobs, and it has been for the last 10 years.
That is so awesome. And the time that we first met was probably around that National Geographic time, because I do remember you first sort of going, yeah, we need to do some house sitting because we've got so much content to create. We need to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, no, house sitting was a total saving grace. We have it here, shameless plug. So we wrote Ultimate Journeys for Two, which Nat and Jody are featured in, because it's all about couples travel, and we have power couples who are super inspiring, like these two who wrote the St. Lucia bit in the Rainforest chapter. But yeah, we just needed a base, and being digital nomads, and now we're in a camper. It's just this go, go, go idea all the time.
Some of your audience might recognize that cute couple there. 179 of the book.
So it just made so much sense to kind of give ourselves a base to get creative writing. And you guys are like the masters of house sitting. So we definitely bonded through that. And then we found each other along the way. And even recently at your house sit in Mexico.
That's right. And that's the house that I'm at actually right now, where we started sort of going, it's been a while. You guys are heading up to a pretty major milestone. But the funny thing is, we are recording this right now on a milestone. Can you tell us about that?
Today is actually 3,500 since we started this honeymoon. And, we take a lot of pride in that it's not just we have a base somewhere and, that we're kind of digital nomads. No, we truly went headfirst all in with this. We haven't had keys to an apartment, a home of any kind in these 3,500 days, and really committed to it.
Yeah, we've been across 7 different continents, and we just got back from Poland, which was our 62nd country that we've explored. So we've seen a lot of the world, still a lot more to see. My mom and most of the people are like, oh, you've seen the whole world, like you've done it all. And we're like, well, there's still 130 countries left to see, and even within the 62 we've been, there's so much more to explore.
Yeah, and we're real believers in slow travel too. So it's not like the goal is not to reach all the countries as fast as possible. I mean, we've been to all 50 states and we've lapped a bunch of them. We keep going back to favorite regions because it's all about getting to know places more intimately and making friendships and connections that last, not just did it.
And we're actually doing this call from inside our 104 square foot house, Buddy the camper. So
a house being a house on wheels. It's a 1985 Toyota camper.
Yeah.
But hey, we have a closet.
You're so grown up now. So what I love, and I think we just completely tuned in the first time we met you. I mean, it may have been back in 2015 or something, but we tuned into the story of being on a continuous honeymoon. And I love the way that you went on a honeymoon. Did you have a time frame to start with for what that sort of travel time was going to be?
Well, to be fair, I mean, we didn't know how long we could last, in terms of, we budgeted for about a year and a half because you just don't know if you're going to be way over or under budget. We were under budget by a lot. So we're like, like between all the travel hacking we learned, I mean, we've basically flown around the world a billion times over for free because we got really good with mileage hacking. We got into, some sharing economy things that like nullified our lodging costs. So we were traveling way more affordable than we thought, and also gaining partnerships and making a little income that we're like, who says we have to go home? Like we proved that we could continue to do this sustainably.
We haven't paid for a long haul flight, meaning longer than, let's say, 400 miles since 2014. That was the last time we've paid for any flight over a couple hundred miles domestically, when it's usually cheaper.
But I do think that, if you're good to throw out a number, because that's what empowered us to go. We actually had met a German couple who had done an around the world trip for 1 year, and they said they did it for $100 a day. And we're like, we can save for that. So once we had this is a cool couple, they did all these things, and that dollar amount helped us back out our finances to go, okay, it's going to take us a little longer to save, but we can achieve that number to actually not have to worry about hustling, and we'd rather just enjoy travel versus trying to have to like make money right off the bat. So that was a really powerful thing. And we say for people who are looking to go around the world, if they're willing to do a little more backpacker style and be nimble, $50 a day per person is kind of, we know you can do it for more like 30, but it's good to have that buffer of 50.
What's really cool is you've done the learning the travel hacking as you go, which is something that we've done as well. Working with you on the Travel Lifestyle Summit back in 2016, being involved in the Nat Geo book, and then now coming up to you and saying, what do you think about this idea with some merchandise? We don't have any HoneyTrek merchandise that we've seen. I mean, I know you had a water bottle at some stage, but can you tell us about what it felt like to kind of consider HoneyTrek as being a brand that could have swag? Is that like taking you guys to another level as well?
Well, actually, even though on that water bottle, that was was one water bottle ever made just for us. We have never put out products to our audience. One, because we really wanted to feel good about them. We didn't want to just like slap a logo on a t-shirt and be like, we have merch. Like, we really wanted it to mean something. So when you guys approached us about this idea of like creating a real art and then turning that into travel gear that people can wear, we were like, wow, that's what we've been waiting for. Like we didn't do products before, but this finally made sense to us because it was much deeper than just stuff for stuff's sake.
And the tie to like doing something that's a little more cutting edge, that's like putting yourself out there.
He's a total crypto geek. Yeah, so he just was like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty deep into crypto since like end of 17, early 18. And, now getting into NFTs and that whole space. And the idea to tie those three things together, crypto, NFTs, these digital art, the physical products, which I'm sure we'll talk about, but we're both rocking right now, and the HoneyTrek brand and the travel audience, and the whole, ties to Argentina with Santi, and that we visited there, and like you guys being travelers, like it was all just a very cool package when you put it all together. And it was just like too cool to say no to. And now that it's released, we're like super pumped with, how everything's come out, and everybody's super excited about it on our fan base and scooping them up. So it's been awesome.
And if you just want to pick up that mug one more time, just so I can actually see it. But
is the name of this design, and then getting cheeky, this is an NFT, and then you can scan through to see it on Wearable.
All right. So before we get into kind of the NFT side of things, what I love about an artistic element is, it is very commonplace that, when a brand like HoneyTrek suddenly becomes like so talked about and so well known and so sort of sought after, it is easy to just slap that logo onto a t-shirt or whatever. But you guys have a story. HoneyTrek has a story. And now with working with Santi, who is the Argentinian artist that we've all discovered is just absolutely incredible. And there's a whole other story regarding that. But what you guys worked together with Santi on was to create a storyline of this 10-year journey. Would you like to kind of walk me through that?
Yeah, it was a fascinating process. I mean, when you guys approached us, I was like, It sounds awesome, but I have no idea how we're going to do this, because we didn't have like a clear, oh, it's going to look like this. It was truly an evolution of just having long conversations over the phone, looking at photographs, like looking at each other's designs, tweaking each other back and forth. Sandy was wonderful, and now was wonderful. John, about being very collaborative, right? So we kind of just kept getting better and better. Obviously, it takes time to make something that like feels truly unique and you can be really proud of, but it was a fascinating creative process, and it's where each of the designs actually all feels very true to HoneyTrek, but they're all very different, which is cool.
Yeah, and Mike, if you wouldn't mind sort of like holding up the journey, because you mentioned New York City before. It all started in New York City for both of you. You're not both from there, but that's where you both came
That's
from.
where we met and where we left from. Yeah, there's I'll show it to you on the tote,
but he's
this
wearing
like
it
a
as
little,
well.
Your grocery tote or trade show tote. There's like New York City on the bottom of that tote. I don't know if that's in focus, but New York City, and then down up through Africa and all the continents, and then it kind of goes over the top with this little pollen and birds fluttering across over to Russia, and then down through Asia and your guys' home country, and then Antarctica down there on the bottom. So
with us kind of tracking them, and this one is called Global Hive, and it's this idea of kind of like cross-pollinating ideas. So if you look at the detail, is incredible, with like kind of various honeycomb designs and blossoming flowers and pollen that spreads, and really it goes back to just like how much we've learned from slow travel. And as you go, you're gaining new ideas and taking sort of the kindness from strangers with you and passing it along, and kind of making ecosystems better as you go. So we're very, we're real environmentalists at heart, and like, and truly kind of thinking about HoneyTrek and the role of the bee actually as, vital to all our ecosystems, and this idea of just like, pollinating and making things grow. And so it kind of had a lot of resonance. So we embraced sort of the bee side, which was fun.
And a cool thing on this design, this one we call the Global Hive, like Ann said, about, learning and kind of just sharing ideas and love all around the world. And what we're doing for every bundle we sell of this, we're going to take 10% of the profits and give to an organization called FLYTE, which is all about helping inner city kids that might not be fortunate enough to fly around the world or study abroad or go on trips with their parents, to help them get out internationally and meet new cultures and kind of break down barriers or stereotypes that they might have of
and
other
to bring
cultures.
that home and sort of because it's when you as a traveler, like you carry that with you wherever you go. So when they go home to their community, maybe not everyone has, they bring a new set of ideas to the table that I think is really valuable. And so FLYTE is just one charity. Each one has their own charity, actually.
Well, would you like to tell us about each one? And I like the idea of it's not just bringing new ideas back home, but it's a new set of eyes as well. You see the world differently after you have experience somewhere else. So tell us about each design and the charity that you're supporting with that too. Yeah, Mike, just as you're holding that up, I am going to actually give you credit. You guys are phenomenal photographers and writers. And it's your photography out of how many was it that you had to choose from to put onto this design?
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, just over 700,000 photos we've taken in the last 9 years. I'm a shutterbug. What can I say?
Real photographs on this.
Yeah. Yep, real photographs all through. Each continent is a different photo representing the continents, and the back's pretty cool. It fills your whole back all the way across. That's a photo actually from Poland, country number 62 there, where we got stuck for 2 months during the COVID lockdown, and this really cool forest in China where they shot Avatar, and some shots from Nepal, and this cheetah that actually jumped on the roof of our safari vehicle, that exact cheetah.
There's so many stories behind all these. These are very meaningful photos to us, kind of a lot of milestone moments.
And then this is cool. On the bottom of each NFT, you've got the signatures of myself, Anne, and Santi. So each piece of art is signed, both the t-shirts and the NFTs. So it makes them a little more real.
Definitely. And it's kind of interesting because the quality of the print on the t-shirts is really vivid, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then funny enough, the totes, it actually softens because it's a coarser material, but it's kind of
like
painterly. Like I really like it. Actually looks more like a painting on the tote. So you have options.
Lovely. Okay, so what does Continental Drifters support then? What sings to your heart?
Yeah, this one supports an organization that's pretty near and dear to our hearts. It's called NRDC, which is National Resource Defense Council. And they are like just super smart advocates. They do a lot of legal work for endangered species that can't really hire their own lawyers because they don't speak or have money, but they need lawyers and they need advocates all around the globe. So they are just a powerhouse doing a lot of the dirty work. They're not as visible as like the WWFs or, you know, Rainforest Alliance that are a little more consumer focused, but they are really doing a lot of hardcore work to protect resources and endangered species all around the world. So 10% of this bundle goes to NRDC.
And then last but not least, I am wearing HoneyTrekking. So we kind of had fun with the design. It's the simplest of the bunch, but I love it. It's very simple and graphic at the same time. So a big honeycomb and a pair of trekkers going across the top with this metaphorical world. And then on the back is fun. Obviously, this isn't on the NFT, but it's on all the shirts. Is you know,
you can
this
see there
is
where
an
it says,
NFT.
This is an NFT.
Exactly. So in case anybody's wondering in the grocery store aisle, you're wearing an NFT, and then this QR code here scans over to Rarible, which is going to be great because once we sell all 30 of these NFTs, that's going to scan over there, and then there'll be an aftermarket and people will start bidding on them. And
it was really fun. We were wearing it about town the other day, and a guy's like, oh, I really like that shirt. And he saw me wearing it. He's like, do you have that in the men's? We're like, yeah, we do. And I was like, scan the arm or scan the back. And he did. And it was so cool to all see it happen in real time. He was like, whoa, this is worth like 0.3 ETH. So it is neat that they're interactive shirts. And to just wrap up the charities, this is for the Bee Conservancy because, yes, I mean, bee, literally,
we more bees.
Have most of our food comes from the fact that a
what
bee
was the
pollinated.
percentage?
I think it's like 90% or 85%
like
of all
above
food
80% of all
had
food.
a bee interact, you know, in the process. So
well, we talked about way back at the start is like we are all very aware that if there are no bees left on the planet, there is no life left on the planet.
Yeah,
it's like that's how vital it is.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. Well, it's been super cool to hear about this. Just the final little thing, I love hearing about, you know, serendipity as such. You guys are constantly moving. You are nomadic 100%. And at the time of actually putting this out, leading up to your 3500th day of honeymooning, can you tell us about the place that you're in and the significance of being there right now that you didn't even know?
No.
Of this town.
Yeah. Oh, it's too funny. So we were in Sandpoint, Idaho, and we're looking around and we're like, why is everything bee themed? We see past the newspaper, the Daily Bee. And then we go to the theater, it's the Hive. And then they have all these cool art installations with like murals of bees and flowers. And we're like, this is just like all meant to be. So yeah, really exciting. It's all coming together.
It absolutely is. I mean, everything to celebrate 3,500 days of honeymooning. An amazing journey and story. I love the idea of pollinating and cross-pollinating as you go and around the world, honey trekking through the amazing, you know, 3D world of a honeycomb. I mean, if we really want to dive in, there's layers upon layers. Like even the design you're wearing, Mike, as Anne was saying, there's layers upon layers within that design. It is a truly unique piece of art. The final question I have for you is, have you ever sort of invested in art yourself? I know it's difficult being a nomad, but how does it feel for you to be able to now maybe start to look at an investment opportunity of art, but being nomadic and maybe not being able to say, take the piece on the wall, or you've got a beautiful blind there beside your screen. But talk to me about that for a second.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, that is one of the kind of sad things about all these countries we visit whenever, you know, because when you're living out of a backpack or even a suitcase and you're going to, let's say, 10 or 15 countries before you come home near your storage unit or back to your camper, in our case, you can't just buy,
no more space,
which doesn't have any space. Like you can't just buy in all 15 countries your favorite piece of art. So we do kind of, you know, we do feel bad about not having that. What we'll do is we'll usually pick a really small piece of art, like a 3x3 inch piece that can like roll up inside a t-shirt and make it home safely. So that's how we do collect art abroad. And the NFT space is really interesting. And it's so in its nascent stages, right? Like a lot of people, there's always going to be haters of anything new. And I think maybe some more traditional artists will look at it and say, oh, well, that's not real art. And I'm like, well, have you ever paid to go to a movie, which is digital, which, is, or watch something on YouTube that you thought was valuable, or looked at, like Anne was pointing out, have you ever heard of anybody who buys stock photography, which is digital, and that's
or you
worth
printing
something?
your own photograph and then blowing it up from a digital file into something you hang over your mantle.
Yeah.
NFTs work the same way.
Exactly. And
it can be a physical thing, as we know, with products, but also as art on your wall.
Yeah, so that's like extra exciting for me, like all the ways people are sharing NFTs, and not just like making it the header on Twitter, which we did, or your profile photo, which people do with their CryptoPunks, but there's digital galleries coming out where you can sync up your wallet and have all of your NFTs in a room so people can walk through and peruse your art. That's extra cool. We were actually playing around on a site, it was called like Crypto Pixels or something, but where the whole virtual world was just art galleries of people displaying their NFTs. So you could go into collections and look at people's CryptoPunks or their kitties, or just, our art or whatever art you want. So to me, that's so nascent too, right? Like not a lot of people are doing that, even of NFT art collectors. So it's just going to get extra cool. It's going to give exposure for people abroad. I think we all saw through the pandemic that international people were able, who would never be able to fly from, the favelas of Brazil or Bangalore, India, were able to tour the Louvre for the first time in their life. And I think that combined with, NFTs is going to be a really cool confluence where art, big museums, I think, are going to start snatching up NFTs because they can display
what's happening at Christie's. It's amazing what NFTs are going for. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I think like the way that they're displayed is extra cool. Not a lot of people talk about that. People are more thinking like, I'm going to buy something for $150 like these, which I hope you do, because there's only a few left, or maybe none by the time you're watching this. I don't know. But people are thinking about it more like financial, or they're supporting influencers like us, which means a lot for anybody who did support this. But I don't think too many people are thinking about the display side, and that's what gets me really excited, that it is
you
just
own it.
as
You
cool.
can do what you want with it.
Yeah, and you could show it to so many more people. Like, everyone's so stuck on like physical art. It's going to hang on my wall, and that is great, and you're going to enjoy it every day. But how many people are going to see it? The 2 people a week you invite over. If it's digital and it's on your wall, there could be 2 million people a week enjoying this beeple that you bought, or whatever art, this HoneyTrek art that you bought. You could show it to so many more people, bring joy. So I think it's a really neat industry that we're honored to be a part of. And I don't know of any other influencers, especially in the travel space, that have released a collection of NFTs, especially not with gear attached to it.
And the gear thing for you guys, yeah. I mean, we've even spoken to some friends who are very into crypto. They're like, whoa, that's a cool idea. Like, I don't know people who are making physical products out of NFTs. So it's really like quite now what you guys have done.
Yeah, and it goes to the next level for me. It's like, this is your story, which is why it is so unique. And you have worked with an amazing artist. So you've got this combination of your story, the art, everything. And I have to say, when it comes to the physical aspect, I saw so clearly in my mind. I don't know if anyone has seen, whether it's a triptych kind of canvas of like the globe across the world. A lot of people have got that kind of one particular design. It was very cool. I saw Continental drifters as a completely printed canvas on the wall, because the NFT comes at the high quality to be able to literally go down to wherever it is you can print that canvas, and it's your art piece right there.
Yeah,
which is phenomenal.
For this call right now, we have an ugly gray curtain. My idea is I want to print it actually on a shade, because this is our office where we do all of our calls, and it will become our sort of backtrap for all of our meetings and such. And entertaining.
That is very, very cool. Yeah. There's so much potential. Once you dive in, there's so much potential. But you guys are absolutely leading edge. Thank you so much for taking part in this project. The designs have come out phenomenal. Your input into them has been phenomenal. Working with Santi, everything is just like all rolled out. And for you to be right where you are right now and have everything kind of aligning as if to say, yep, check. And here we are on the 3,500th day of honeymooning. I think that makes you the world's longest honeymooners.
Feeling pretty strong about
Google
that.
feels pretty good. And we just want to say thanks, obviously, to everybody who's watched this video, but also just the people that have supported our journey, whether it's by buying stuff or just leaving comments or sharing love or following along and giving ideas. It means a lot to us, and hopefully we've inspired a few people out there to kind of chase their dreams and not settle for what the Matrix think you should be doing with your life, or your parents. They're obviously part of the Matrix, but you know, just to get out there and chase your dreams. And yeah, thanks for being a part of this project. I don't know by the time you're watching it if there's any of these left, but if there are, this is the first edition. We're going to do a lot more editions. So yeah, excited to have you guys along for this wild NFT ride.
It's been awesome. Thank you so much, Anima, and congratulations on it all. And we're helping educate people in the world of digital art, and that's what's most important for us as well. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See you, Jody.